today, and to give a sincere welcome to the distinguished guest speakers who have taken the time to join our discussion. So European Technology Chamber is a not-for-profit organization which is committed to helping European companies to increase their competitiveness, successfully landing in the international emerging markets and achieve sustainability. Today, our topic is smart transportation, the mobility revolution in China. Before this section starts, to share some of my thoughts on the topic. Smart transportation is a key driver from China to expand new infrastructure construction and investment, and accelerate the upgrading of digital economy and intelligent economy. According to the China Intelligent Transportation Industry Ecological Development Strategy Research, they highlighted the future development of smart intelligent transportation will be of global significance to China's economic and social development. And also pointed out that in the global intelligent revolution, transportation as a basic and pointing sector of the national economy needs to be one step ahead to improve efficiency and effectiveness. At present, China automobile manufacturing integrated created industry chain is still in a catch-up stage. The future to achieve a high level of scientific and technological self-significance, the industry independent and controllable, intelligent transportation is near, must seize an important high point. On our panel today, we have a great range of professionals who will be joined by our moderator, Federico, also our Director of Advocate Manager. I'm sure we are going to have a fruitful discussion. So again, I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to welcome you all, and I hope you enjoy today's proceedings. So now I would like to welcome our EU Tech member, Mihaela, to give an introduction of EU Tech Chamber. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Sarah, for your welcome words. And my name is Mihaela Maya. I'm the director of the Finance Alliance, and today it's my great pleasure to introduce to you the EU Tech Chamber. So please let me know if you will be able to use my screen. So. Federico, please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see it. Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Amazing. So who we are the European Technology Chamber, short EUTech. On the next slide, you can see our three major goals that are competitiveness, growth, and sustainability. Competitiveness means that we are trying to strengthen and promote European technologies and values, grow, attract opportunities in Europe and markets, and also help our advocates to access those. And sustainability, our third goal, means we are trying to reach the SDGs through European technology. And we believe that technology is the key to reach them. Other than that, you can see the structure of our chamber. So we are divided in 16 different alliances that you can divide in 3 different groups. So the first group of alliances are the regional alliances, like China, Latin America, Benelux, Africa. Those alliances are focused on the specific region. Then the impact alliances, the second group, like finance, policy, academy, SDGs. Those alliances are focused on impact topics and trying to support our advocates. And the third group are the tech alliances like smart cities, digital transformation, environment, advanced manufacturing. So you can see they are more focused on tech topics. Impact on global scale. So our toolbox, on one hand, we are trying to share knowledge. How we are trying to share knowledge? Through our events. So one time per month, each alliance is organizing a webinar. Today you are part of a China Alliance webinar. And on the other hand, we are organizing networking groups. Networking groups are a little bit different. During networking groups, you will be able to switch on your cameras and really network. On the other hand, we are organizing big events like expos and summits. The next big expo will be next week. So here you can see our offline events. So during our offline events, the 90% of the participants are policymakers, CEOs and CIOs. Really amazing opportunity for you to network and meet in person. So as I already mentioned, we are supporting networking. On our homepage, you will be able to see the overview of all alliances. Everything happens. Each alliance has its own homepage where you can check the topics and the content. Here you can see on the next slide the amazing bags that we have received from our advocates. So please join our LinkedIn group. I will share with you later the link. And the last but not least, our utech.org homepage, where you can see all the news. And if you should be interested or would like to have more information about UTech, please don't hesitate to contact me, Federico, or any other director, and we will be more than happy to share with you more and tell you more about specific projects. So I wish you a wonderful webinar, and Federico, the floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michaela, for this great UTech Chamber presentation. Good morning or good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today in this digital event that we are sure will be very interesting for all of us to have a better understanding of a very important topic such as smart transportation, the mobility revolution in China, and also of the trends, challenges, and business opportunities related to this sector that the country offers to foreign companies. As always, I invite you all to share with us your questions about this topic. You can do it. You can write your questions at the Q&A section, at the chat of this meeting room. Later, I will pick up some to ask them to our panelists. Please don't wait until the end of the panel to send your questions. You can do it anytime starting now. Today, we are honored with the presence of three great panelists, all of them with huge experience in transportation and mobility in China. I am sure they will offer us different points of view about today's topic, sharing with us a great vision of its current situation, trends, challenges, and opportunities in China, and also telling us, in their opinion, where the country is heading in this sector. Please let me introduce you Nan Liu, 20 years in automotive field, currently being the Innovation and Strategic Corporation Director China at Continental, who was the former Smart City Mobility Segment Business Director and also Asia Sales and Marketing Director of Electrification Vehicle Business Unit, again in Continental. Our second panelist is Daniel Navarro, Regional Manager of Swarco for the Asia Pacific region. Swarco is a traffic technology group providing a complete range of products and solutions for road safety and intelligent traffic management. With more than 5 decades of experience in the industry, Swarco provides turnkey systems and solutions in road marking, urban and interurban traffic control, and public transport. Daniel has more than 20 years experience in the ITS, Intelligent Traffic System sector. He has worked in projects like the Tianjin Metro Line 2, highway projects like Beijing, Tianjin, Tanggu Expressway, Jinan, Qingdao Expressway, Hangzhou, Ningbo Expressway, and in the urban traffic projects in cities like Urumqi, Changchun, Nanning, Beijing, etc., providing smart traffic solutions for transport and traffic authorities. He's also a member of the Beijing Intelligent Transportation System Association. Last but not least, please let me introduce you Jingge Zhe, who has an education background in electrical engineering and computer science. He has been working for a Bosch group for 17 years and is now responsible for automotive technology strategy in China. Since 2013, Mr. Jingge has a parallel role in the software standardization organization AUTOSAR, representing AUTOSAR in China. In this role, he has been in close connection to Chinese companies and associations to strengthen the development of AUTOSAR in China. So after this brief but impressive introduction, let's start the panel discussion. And we are going to start with Nan. Nan, good morning, good afternoon for you. How do you see government policy towards smart mobility?
This obviously, thank you, Federico, and thank you, the panelists, the friends, and also the participators today, audience today. And yes, and back to Federico's question, and this is big, very big. I think I was in this business for the last around about 4 years, and before that I worked on OEM business, selling components, selling the high-tech components like EV, but it's still a traditional business. It's not like Daniel, and I believe he worked on all kinds of government projects related to transportation. But last 3-4 years, I really opened a new door to myself, and to deal with the government, deal with the ecosystem, deal with the transportation companies, and all types of partners in the transportation area. Of course, mobility is one of the pillars in it. And from my personal view, with the 3 years experience, I see the government is pushing very hard to upgrade the transportation system. And to take one example, if you see the traffic lights, this kind of traditional smart city or mobility infrastructure, the traffic lights has been there for more than 10 years, 20 years, with not too much, let's say, evolution. But now the government provides a lot of opportunities for the ecosystem, for the startup, even for the automotive companies to work on it, to have a test, have a try to see what kind of upgrade that they can apply. Basically, they encourage the new technologies to apply in this kind of traditional transportation area. So in this regard, it opens up huge opportunities to the smart mobility companies in this area. And with the government incentives, really speed up the process, I would say. So in the last 3-4 years, we see a strong push from the government side to really upgrade this kind of transportation. In general, that's kind of overview.
Thank you, Nan. Let's go with one question to Daniel. Daniel, good morning, good afternoon. What does your company do in smart transportation in China?
Okay, good afternoon and good morning to all of you. Thank you very much, Federico and UTEC, for giving this chance to introduce our company and to share with you background. And also thank you to Nan and Jim to be with me here. Swarco, what we do is, we already did a brief introduction of what we are doing. We are a traffic technology company that was founded 50 years ago in Austria. So we are from Austria. But as you mentioned, I have been in China working nearly 20 years. So we have been providing, as Nan said, the old traffic lights are now trying to be involved in the new solutions that is smart solutions. So at Swarco, what we do is intelligent traffic solutions for public transport, buses, or metros, but also for cities, in order to bring more intelligence to connect the infrastructure to the cars. I think to Bosch or to Continental. So we are in the infrastructure side. We provide solutions to public authorities mainly, to transport departments, the traffic police, public transport authorities. So we provide technology to help them to manage the traffic, to do the travel safe, environmentally friendly, quick, reduce traffic on these traffic jams. So this is mainly what we provide within Swarco.
And Daniel, sorry, coming back to the question that I asked to Nan before. So have you seen this development or this improvement because you work with governments in China, providing? Have you seen this development or improvement in the governments related to, let's say, providing more or better smart transportation or mobility services or solutions?
I would say, I don't know if it's I enjoy or I suffer. There's really, the development of China has been very, very fast. Now, the last decades, I arrived to China in '97, so already 25 years ago. And I was living in Beijing. The last ring road was the third ring road. Now there are the sixth ring road. So the development of the China economy and the infrastructure has been huge. I mean, this is, I wouldn't want to talk about high-speed trains or about the airports. This has been amazing. For sure, this has bring also some environmental degradation, some air pollution impacts, high emission carbon, no? But China, since a few years ago, I think in the last 5-year plan in 2016, the government realized that this kind of quick development, not sustainable development, was not feasible. So they have completely changed their mind. In the last 2 5-year plans, they have already implemented new regulations in the transport sector to make it more integrated and more sustainable. So, and they are using very focus on technology, trying to reduce less resource intensive mode of transport, making more inclusive, accessible, barrier-free. Let's see, also they're really pushing for electric vehicles, pushing back for, I remember when I was in the 90s, early 2000, everybody in Europe saying China is killing the bikes, all the bike lanes, no? Because really China at that moment, at the early 2000s, was really pushing for the automotive. But now they are coming back. You can see Beijing is doing a lot of bicycle lanes. They're pushing for cycling, walking, and alternative mobilities like a car sharing and bike sharing that China is leading on. So I will say that the government is on the top of this, leading this smart mobility ahead, making some kind of framework, using technology, and they have some motive. At the same, they want to do the 2025 Made in China. They want to be the #1. They say that 2050, they want to be a transport superpower the transport superpower in the world. So they are really, from the government point of view, they are very focused on smart transportation and bringing all these technologies. Later, we will talk more in detail. If you ask me, I can stay. Later, we can more in detail, and also let Boss and Dan to explain that.
Thank you so much. Question for Jing. Jing, good morning, good afternoon for you. AUTOSAR is a well-known software standard, but maybe not all the audience today are familiar with it. Could you please tell us what is AUTOSAR and how it is related to smart mobility?
Thank you, Federico. Good morning and good afternoon to the audience. AUTOSAR was started 20 years ago by a few leading automotive companies to define the standards for software architecture and interfaces for cars. And today there are already more than 300, close to 400 companies inside AUTOSAR organization. And in the world, more than 80% of the cars are made by our AUTOSAR partner companies. And what does this standard do? So with this software standard, companies are able to handle the more and more complex software development, and they will have less troubles with that. And in our view, smart mobility shares something in common with smartphones. And we believe that in future smart cars, there will be rich and flexible features which are upgradable during the lifetime of the cars, just like mobile phone apps. And if we look at mobile phones and what made the smartphones different from the older phones are the operating system platforms and app stores. For example, we're using apps every day on our mobile phones, and these apps, they are mostly developed not specifically to the phone brands, but for Android system or iOS system. And they develop it once and it can be deployed everywhere in every phone. And AUTOSAR, inside AUTOSAR, we have the similar vision to enable such smart systems, ecosystems in vehicles in future, like the mobile phone operating system. And with this platform, people will be able to develop their apps for cars independently from the car makers, and therefore making driving and riding a better experience. Yeah, that's
Thank you.
what AUTOSAR is and what we do.
Thank you so much, Jing. A little reminder for all the audience. I mean, because I saw before someone was raising the hand, of course, to ask something or to say something. Please use the public chat. You can write your questions, your comments in the public chat, and later we will review it and we will reply or answer some of them a little bit later. Now, one question for Nan. Nan, what is the technology roadmap do you see in the coming years for automotive or for mobility?
Yes, thanks for your question. The roadmap, I think somehow it's a complicated question. I would like to start from the field that I'm familiar with as the main, let's say, the start from my experience. I started traditional powertrain, like I said. Recent years, I was leading the electrification business in Asia, and then moved to this new area, smart mobility and smart city. It's about car connectivity, autonomous driving, and even beyond. Smart city could be like V2X. Right? I always take the example like the vehicle eventually will have its own. It's got to be alive, right? So it has its own life, and also the vehicle itself can think, right, with the AI technologies. So they will know. So that's basically what I experienced. So the change is the roadmap would be you see the China EV is growing very fast and it's amazing. When I started the job in this new role 6-7 years ago, and I even doubt if the EV can really come. Right? People get used to the gasoline engine, diesel. When we talk about EV, and there's always a roadblock, like the battery, right? The motors and the motor controls, and if the consumer, the car owner, would adapt to this kind of new features of the vehicle. So there's a lot of questions. Even I talked to OEM themselves, and some of them, let's say, also they doubt about this, the battery. So there are a lot of challenges here and there. But now, if you look back 6 years, 7 years after, it's clear. It's clear. There's no doubt, and it will come, right? So it's not EV technology anymore. It's all about the market growth, how fast the market can grow. Right? So with this foundation, and with this foundation, and it's much more easier to build like autonomous drive on top of it. So the EV is much more easier to control, right? It gives a very good foundation to the autonomous drive, car connectivity. So that's something built on. And with the autonomous drive, car connectivity, so it allows the vehicle to talk to the infrastructure. So basically, that's how the smart mobility was developing. And even the vehicle can be very smart, can be smarter and smarter. So it can drive itself, but still people need to see in. So you have to interact with the vehicle. Right? In the cabin, you have to somehow to touch, to view the movies, whatever you do, you have to feel about it. So that's why there are a lot of new technology companies in the consumer electronics companies. They're really jumping into this area because they got familiar with the iPhones and they're familiar with how the people would interface with the vehicle. And then there are a lot of new companies jumping into the vehicle. So now the car is getting to be somehow adopt in the IoT system. So that's, I would say simply, before it was a vehicle business, in the longer run, it develops into an IoT system in general. And that creates a lot of opportunities. So that's what I see. And also, if you look at the value chain and the added value, it goes into the to the downstream. The downstream, to how much added value you can get out of the vehicle, out of the IoT box. That's the added value area. Instead of manufacturing, so that is used to the old. So that's from vehicle side. I think that's how we see, how I see the roadmap of this kind of transportation.
Thank you so much. Let's go with one other question for Daniel. Daniel, what is the situation of smart transportation in China?
Wow, as I was mentioned before, the last year we have seen the implementation of new policies that make the transport more safe, inclusive, accessible, barrier-free, and convenient. No? The goal is always to promote this environmental friendly and low carbon development of China transport sector. They are focused. Also, at the same time, the government is really pushing for create national champions, to create big companies and to create technology. You know, we are this smart transportation. You have the technology part is important for sure. You have the social part to move people or move goods. Cargo is important, but the technology is trying to use it. In this case, the Chinese society and Chinese government has something very good. I don't know if it's polite, but I said they have a bold approach to innovation. So they absorb the new ideas very fast. you can throw to the market something that is not very mature, but by iteration they can make it round, perfect, and make it running and fit to the market needs. No, like the case of WeChat. No, when they sent it, was full of bugs, and when it was launched at the beginning, it was full of bugs. Thanks to the China has so many users, you have so many data that you can run your minimum value product and make it run very fast. So China currently now is the government is pushing for new ideas in artificial intelligence, big data, autonomous driving, electrical cars, electrification. No, they are pushing to have winners. So there are many companies investing in that field, doing new innovations. There are many people will, how do you say, fail. Also the problem you have here is probably there are most of them, as this always comes from the government, central government, most of the provinces, they want to develop their own also local industry. They have their own car manufacturers, or they have their own artificial intelligence hubs. So some of them, they will, I think at the end will merge and will get together. But these are making, in general, the market moving very, very fast. I mean, faster than Europe. No, in Europe, you know that we need to test everything in the lab. We have to create some standards until the product is mature, then we can launch to the market. Even like this, as we have tested in the lab, we haven't tested in a real environment like doing in China. So sometimes maybe even the product dies. But here in China, this is what I see. You know, they are really keen on pushing and creating big companies and new innovations that at the beginning you think they're crazy. You say what they are doing is this doesn't, but they are on every day innovating. So they are radiating, and they will make the product that fit the market and profitable in the long run. So this is how I see the smart transport. Later, I think we will talk more about who are the actors doing this and what are the technologies that they are really now driving this smart mobility.
Thank you. Question for Jing. Jing, how long has AUTOSAR been in China? And how is the development until today? And how do you see the future?
Mm-hmm. Thank you for the question. Actually, AUTOSAR standard has come to China ever since it was born. And companies are starting using this technology since then. And from the AUTOSAR organization side, actually, we started the Chinese activities around 11 years ago. And in the beginning, actually in China, in total, there were only a few members in AUTOSAR from China. And right now we have more than 40, and it's quickly increasing. And from the last years, we have been successfully aligning the Chinese industry on the AUTOSAR standard. And also I'm seeing that more and more Chinese companies are taking important roles inside this international organization, AUTOSAR. And talking about future, I have the vision that AUTOSAR globally would join hand with a few other standards, and this can enable the smart mobility globally. And yeah, that's how I see AUTOSAR in China, and we're working hard on that.
Thank you. Question for Nan. Nan, what are the opportunities in China in the long run?
Let's say, let's following Jin's comment about AUTOSAR. I think now we talk about this software-defined vehicle globally. I have to say, like Volkswagen, that they recently announced a software company globally, and they're building really software engineers to jump into this new direction. I think same move in China. I think on top of AUTOSAR, that people are discussing the new standard in the software development area to catch the new market, new opportunities. Because eventually, the vehicle is not a machine anymore. It's a movable computer. So there are a lot of ideas behind to how to load the apps. So there are a lot of opportunities to develop the apps. That's why the AUTOSAR is the basic, and then on top of the AUTOSAR, there has to be a new software standard. And same to the Continental. Take us as an example. Last year, we established a new software center in China, in the west of China. So we built a team of 400 engineers, wholly owned R&D center. And this is how Continental is developing the software team to catch market. And if you look at the local OEMs, they do this. They follow this with the same map. Like SAIC, they have their own R&D center, software center, around about 3,000 engineers. And Chang'an, they have like 1,500 engineers, all software guys. And the new OEMs like NIO, Li Auto, so they all hiring software engineers, like thousands of engineers, 2,000, 3,000. So you see, this is where obviously the opportunities in this area. But more of that are the software products behind. So that's why the ecosystem is playing a very important role. That the car can be the car system can be ready by the OEMs, but as an ecosystem developer, there are a lot of startups around that they see here and piece of business here, piece of business there, like the small apps being developed on top of that kind of new system. So those are all the opportunities. And particularly with transportation, I would say, like the autonomous drive, that's where we see at the moment. There are a lot of new startups, very top line companies like Momenta, like the Horizon, which is also our JV partner. And so they develop chips, but actually they're selling the autonomous drive algorithms embedded in the chip. So these are all the real cases of the software development. So this is kind of basically the software development. On top of that are the use cases like AD, for example. And on top of AD, there you see the mobility. So the buses, for example, the taxi, the robot bus. So those are the real applications down the market, down the ground. And there are a lot of cities now applying this kind of testing field, like Beijing, Wuxi, and even Shanghai, down in the center, last in Jingqiao district. So they announced that the government announced particular rules that eventually that the government will allow the vehicle drive itself without a safe driver inside. So this is kind of really a big push to formalize the business eventually. I think in this kind of development, you see a lot of huge opportunities.
Thank you very much, Nan. Daniel, what is the involvement of the big internet companies in the smart transportation in China? I am speaking about Baidu, Huawei, Didi, Alibaba, and this kind of big corporates.
Yeah, and Nan has already mentioned big companies involved in the transport, Volkswagen, NIO, Li. All of them are OEMs, so tier one companies, startups involved. But this market is really attractive in China. and are attracting these also big guys. Now, Huawei always, there are some news that they are going to do their own car. Some later say, no, we are not going to do their own car. Only we are going to do this part. Now, Huawei is quite strong from my point of view. I mean, more in the infrastructure side. So Huawei is mainly a telecommunication infrastructure provider for these autonomous driving or connected vehicles. But they are also really involved in software. They are hiring software engineers also because everything now is going to be in that field. So they are trying to get involved also inside the cars. I don't know if they are in AutoStar. I guess they should be because they also want to be in all the communications related inside the car. Tencent is a monster, investing everywhere. So all the startups they see interested in transport, they will do something, and they will. Tencent, Tencent. You know more Baidu, for instance, Baidu Maps. Baidu is in many sectors. Baidu has Baidu Maps, we're doing the navigation. They have Apollo, that is also an open platform for autonomous driving cars. Besides that, also they are in the infrastructure side. They have their own roadside units because they have their own software, so they want to test that everything is working. Other monster also involved in transportation. Didi itself is a ride-sharing company, but they have created what they call Didi Labs in California. That is a research institute where they use machine learning and artificial intelligence to big data that they collect from the drivers in order to develop new algorithms for themselves, but also now when they go, for instance, in Mexico, they go to Mexico City and say, okay, if you give me a license for Didi, I can provide you all the traffic data I collect, and also with my algorithms, I can help you to manage the traffic in that city. So they are really, these guys are getting involved in the whole environment of transportation. You think that this is only Uber, but they are doing also, they are getting in the, like I said, Swarcom competitor. They send on Baidu, you think it's like only Google, it's only making a search, but it's also inside the car. So they are quite diversified, these companies. They have a lot of venture money, and then they have their own investment arms that they invest in this sector. And I think we shouldn't see them as enemies. We have to partner with them because they are really strong. And then I see them we cooperate. We try to cooperate. Swarco, we try to cooperate with them. For instance, Alibaba has also called. Alibaba is very strong in cloud services. It's similar to Amazon cloud services, but they have over the cloud service, over the infrastructure, they have a software called Brain City. The Brain City is a smart city software to manage all the video collected in the city together with video recognition, so they can apply this also to traffic management. Some cities like Kuala Lumpur is already using it. So these big corporations are everywhere, and they have their own involvement in transportation. So this is with some of the players you have to consider. Even you don't think they are not there, they are there in some way or in another. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Daniel. Question for Jing. Jing, why is a standard organization like AutoSAR active in China? I guess you are not earning money from China. What do you want to achieve with regional activities in China?
Mm-hmm. You are definitely right that AutoSAR as an organization doesn't really make money. We don't sell things and get the turnover. But it is in the interest of AutoSAR, especially for all the AutoSAR members, that the complete industry, that everybody is using the same standard. And it's understandable that if everybody is using the same standard, this reduces cost finally for everyone. For example, for automotive supplier like Bosch, we provide products to different OEMs, and if everybody uses the same standard AUTOSAR, we only need to develop one version. But if there's another standard in China, and then we would have to develop the products separately, differently, for the China market. And if there are more standards or without standard in the whole world, it can be troublesome for us. And also there are benefits for OEMs. If everybody knows the standard and have their products prepared, then the car makers, they can purchase components, purchase parts from different suppliers which are already compliant, and they have a big choice, and they can increase the competition between suppliers, therefore get the best products out of the selection. And this is in the interest of the AUTOSAR partners or members. Therefore, we are here in China, and we have been working on promoting AUTOSAR in China and to let everybody understand it, and try to get people on board. So when they think they need a software standard for cars, they should come to AUTOSAR. They should use it. And even we encourage companies in China to join us and define the standards together. And the way we're doing this is keeping exchanging opinions with everyone. This includes not only companies, but also different associations in the automotive industry in China. And with this, we can understand better the needs from China, whether there's something special, and we try to make the standard fit. And on the other side, we also have the benefit by bringing more Chinese companies into AUTOSAR, and they can contribute. They can bring their competence, knowledge, and define the standards together. And we're starting to see the benefits from that already. And I think that this is mainly why AUTOSAR, a standard organization, is in China and is interested to get everybody on board. And also, I would like to add a comment to what Daniel said just now about having some Chinese companies becoming stronger and stronger in the industry. And my understanding is that in China, with the big population and better education, it is a clear trend that there are basically more talents available than any European country, or in this sense. And for international companies, one possible way is to utilize that. Not only seeing China or Chinese companies as competitors, but also seeing China as a source for talents and innovation and development, and recruit talents in China, use the competence here to serve the China market and to serve the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jing. I can see also the public chat is having a hot debate and the participation of many people of the audience. This is good. I am going to check some questions. For example, Doron asked before, and any one of you can reply any question. Have you increased, has China increased the electricity supply because of the new consumers added? Any one of you?
No idea.
I think
maybe I can say a few words from my side.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
not an expert in energy, but I think similar to Lunan, I also worked on the new energy vehicles topic before. And in general, We're talking about total energy consumption, and new consumers in this question, I assume, meaning the EVs or something like. And if we look at it from a high level, so the country has the target to reduce CO2 emission. So that is a big target. 2030 to reach the peak, and 2060 reaching carbon neutral. And with that, in general, the electricity will still go up, and gradually also become more dependent on renewable energies, renewable electricity, and reducing the CO2 emission. But one big trend is that industry and things needs to be more efficient, and they need to consume less energy in total, and definitely less fossil fuels. Yeah.
Thank you, Jing. Nan, you wanted to address to say something about that, or?
Yeah, I think like Jin explained that we're not experts on the energy side. So to give some general view about it. What we experience in the operation is, yes, there's kind of a shortage of the production. Right? During the summertime, you have a shutdown, where you really have to control your electrification or consumption in the plant. And even that we experience some kind of shutdown in the production plant. But even you have to shut down your air conditioner. That was very suffering, then shut the production. But it depends on how do you see it, right? And if you shut down the production, definitely is a damage to your sales, right? Obviously. But if you shut down your air conditioning, even that, it's really sweating, I would say, in South China. That's suffer. So that's the pain point down ground. And overall, I think China, like Jin explained, that China has the CO2 emission to hit the target of 2030 or something. I think what we experience that you see China is really pushing hard on the new energy side, like the wind power. That's the solar power really did push up very hard. But on the side, the economy development worry that you have to somehow balance the price, because the government that they push a lot of incentives in the new energy side, in the solar or in wind power, that they got a lot of subsidies that they can sell in a very cheap price in the market. But the other group that they will somehow stop this if the new energy price is too low, that people switch to buying the new energy electricities, that the mine developed, the mine power will be suffered. The area that the government puts a lot of money that they couldn't. So the funny thing that you see is in the last 2 years that the normal electricity price now, the government the normal electricity price to go up. I think like there's a boom, like 20 or 10%. I couldn't. But you see the home, the normal electricity that's based on mine power, the price is going up steadily. On the other side, government is pushing solar and the power electricity go into the market. That's the phase where you see the moment. And then this direction back to the down to the ground. For example, in China, that if you build a new factory, new plant, that you have to use new energy. So the wind, whatever wind, this is a mandatory. This becomes a mandatory. But on top of that, the government will give you subsidize. So that to encourage you, one side is mandatory, but the other they give you the money to do so. That's how China develops new power side. That's funny. And eventually, I think that when the vehicles that you see a lot of EVs on the ground, that the EVs maybe also with the power, the electric battery power, that it will also fit with all grid, power grid. So that's going to be a vision in the next 10 years, probably. That's the overall situation. I think
Thank you.
Yeah, a lot of opportunity now for the companies in this area.
Thank you, Nan. Another question, and I think this maybe could be more addressed to Daniel from Stefan. Stefan says, looking at the big cities like Shanghai or Beijing, traffic on the roads basically collapses every time that it is raining during rush hours, and subways are overcrowded. How is China addressing such issues? And he said, smart transportation should improve the experience of the users of different means of transport, right?
Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. I have lived in both cities, in Beijing and Shanghai, and they have different layouts are completely different. And yeah, both for sure they get as there are 20 million population in this city, so. In a Friday afternoon, a rainy Friday afternoon, it will be collapsed for sure. But the numbers of metro lines is increasing, the frequency is increasing. The different transport modes you have. If it's raining, maybe bicycle is not the best one, but they have a lot of ride-sharing facilities. I remember before when I was in Beijing in the 2000 was Friday, was raining and trying to go back home, no taxi, no taxi, no metro. So just walk or go to the near restaurant and have dinner and wait for that. Now you have Didi, you can call, you can see if somebody is coming to pick up you. There are many companies, not only Didi, like metro, just walking by. You can rent an umbrella on the metro station and go to your home and then returning back. So there are many facilities that make the travel more convenient. Now, if going back, I cannot imagine that Friday's afternoon that I had to have dinner alone because I didn't have any way to go back home because there was not metro and no taxi, and walking was far. So now I know it's very easy. Now I call the Didi. When the Didi is down, then I go downstairs and take the Didi and go back home. Or I know I can walk to the metro station. I can rent an umbrella everywhere. So there are many more facilities. Metro lines are increasing. Bus, bike sharing is also an amazing solution for certain distances. Now I don't own a car. I'm very happy. This is one of my biggest happiness. I don't have a car. I don't need it. I mean, maybe if I need it for a weekend, I call Friday to a rental company. They send me the car Saturday morning, and they come back to pick up that, and that's it. I'm very happy without car, and I can live in this 20-something million population city without car. I can do it everything without car. So,
well, this is a clear message, I have to say.
Yeah, I am in the infrastructure side, so the cars for me are not the very attractive, and yeah, I will always try to find it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
More questions. Yeah, please. Who spoke? Sorry.
Yes, it's me. On top of that, and it's a good summary from Daniel, and you see you have a lot of variants of the transportation tools. The way the vehicles, the first private vehicles, and Didi, for example, like Uber. And on top of that, you see a lot of bicycles, right? The share bicycles. and that's everywhere basically. Within kilometers, you can easily just use your mobile, scan it, and you can take a lot of bicycles, shared bicycles, let's say. And I think probably in the near run, let's say, the tech companies that are driving robobus. Like I talked to many founders in this area. For example, UC and Wenyuan. This kind of they focus on the robobus, autonomous robobus. So basically, they focus on the last mile deliveries. I think from time to time that more and more you see this kind of demo here and there. I think that could be a very nice supplementary to the current transportation. I see that will come not too far, let's say, maybe 5, 8 years down the road. In a small range, for sure.
Thank you, Nan. Nan, another question for you. How to catch up with the market development in China?
Oh, that's a very let's say a professional question to me. Because I was I was marketing and sales, and it's a hard question, let's say, because the market changed so fast. Even that it changed so fast year by year that you see different things, different policies, and very much different. Personally, I focus on the logic behind. I focus more on the methodology. You have to start with the policy analysis before, like traditional business. That you don't really have to care about the policies. Yes, there's a policy always change from slightly here and there. It doesn't impact the real business too much. You just sell the components, deal with the price, deal with the specification. But since the electrification starts, that China always changed the policies. For example, there was a huge discussion about subsidize to the new energy vehicle. If you can get the license for free, that costs a lot of money. Like 10,000, about 10,000, no, much more than that. 12,000 euros. You just get a plate, right? It's very difficult, by the way. It's like a lottery. But if you buy an EV, the license itself free. The plate is free. You easily get it. So there are a lot of discussions, when they will stop this kind of policy, and that will hurt the market for sure. And also, when you buy an EV, the government will subsidize the OEM or consumer. So this is also a very much incentive to the market, right? So there are a lot of such kind of policies behind technology roadmap. The government will say, let's say we encourage pure EV instead of PHEV, HEV, for example, PHEV, for example. It all has a huge impact into the market. So first you have to understand the market policy, the government directions, and then you have to talk to the OEMs. You really have to talk to the market. You need the new OEM, the new car makers. They have a different view about the market. If you go to the traditional car OEMs, they have their own perspective because they say, we are in this market for like last 20, 30 years. You guys just new. So they have kind of a different view of the direction. But for the suppliers, you really need to make your decisions where that you really invest, right? So you have to find something in common. Somehow on top of that, you have to bet. So that's kind of marketing. This is kind of marketing strategy. You have to follow policies down to the marketing policies, and then following that, you have to discover who are the customers, right? Because different have their own development strategy, and then pricing, and so that's how, when I was taking the Asia role, that's how we develop the market. On the other side, this is just to sell their product. On the other side, you don't have all the products, but the market is growing so fast. Right? Each year, the growth rate can be over 100, 200. That's so it started 6 years ago. You just sell a couple of 100,000 EVs, but now you sell like 3, 4, 5 million vehicles. Each year you got double the 200 market growth, 200 growth. So how you're going to catch this kind of growth, fast growth? One side you have to sell a product. On the other side, maybe you need to find a partner, right? Partner. So that's why I grow also broadcasting this kind of risk to the ecosystem. That whenever you have a good product, okay, we can work together. For example, Daniel, maybe later I will talk to you to see if we can, right? We can work together to really catch this kind of fast growth. So different ways for the market.
That's great, guys. I hope you can cooperate together, of course.
Yeah, I would like just to not to add, but just to reaffirm what Nan said. And policy is important here. You have to be aligned. Let's say the government is defining some big lines where you have they want the local industry to play. No, they are pushing for electric vehicles, autonomous driving, and IT manufacturing, chips now. No, the one also chips is a big push. There are a lot of startups coming here, listed in the market, in the stock market. Sometimes I said it's not the market is not market driven. It's not by really what the market needs, but the government also plays a big role here. So for sure you have to be here and know the market. Have, as Jean said, also have local talents that they can help you to understand this. The government plays a big role. I mean, it's not after 20 years. I mean, it's not a government that every 5 years change the direction. So it's very easy to know where they are going. They have already the 2050 plan, the 2030 plan, the 2060 plan. So it's not like this government they are going to change from today to tomorrow. No, it's already a big plans there are open, public. You can read it. So and then jump in here. You know what they are pushing now is clearly where they want to go. So they are not anything hiding now as before. They are much more open, and you can see. But the policy for sure. I mean, you have seen how the government has called to all the internet companies to tell them, hey, wait. I mean, you are becoming a monopoly, so you cannot do that. You're gonna do that. And no, the Alibaba financial arm they wants to do something that maybe was not completely aligned with the government. So you have to be aligned what the government wants. But I would say in our sector we don't see much these conflicts. Now we know in which direction we are going. For us, it's very clear where we are going.
Thank you, Daniel. Daniel, another question for you. What are the trends of smart transportation in China? Big data, AI, IoT. What do you think?
I mean, we have already drafted some of them. No, really, as I said again, I bring again policies again. In 2015, China already outlined this Made in China 2025 strategy. That this was a national 10 years plan in order to create a high-tech manufacturing industry in IT and robotics. So in that plan, there were already drafted some lines. Machine learning and artificial intelligence is one of them. It's huge. You have companies like I think they have mentioned already, Momenta. They are. I think was too simple. There are some of them involved in video analytics, machine learning that use it in many sectors, and they are becoming monsters already listed in NASDAQ and big stock markets. And then big data. Well, you have with the big data, you have the big ones already. The Baidu, Alibaba, they are working with cloud solutions. I like to say digital twins because when I say digital twins in Europe, I say, but what are you? We are using digital twins in China a lot in transportation. Why? Chinese clients like to visualize, to have a very nice interface. It's really very impressive, the graphic user interface that we are using in software here. And it's a little bit more, in Europe, we use very engineering interfaces, like are only focused for engineers. That is, you see it, okay, they have all the information, but are not very attractive, no user friendly. With digital twins, you can see in the control centers of a tunnel. They have cameras, radars from Continental, and they get all this data and then replicate what is happening inside the tunnel in a 3D digital environment. So you can see in the big screen, you don't, what you are seeing is a digital, your tunnel representing a digital environment with all the cars moving and everything. So the cars are feeding, the cameras and all the data are feeding this model. And then for me, it's very impressive because when I go to Europe, I say, okay, I see the old systems that I still, you can read all the data. And maybe the Europeans say, well, why do you need that? Here is, I don't know, they are the differences that you need to know to come here to see that there are the difference in this at this level. And then they are pushing. They like to also bring new stuff to the control center. I would say that they are allowed to fail if they are trying to do something good. If they fail in the development, they will not be punished by the government, or because this is more government authorities. No. It's on the way of they are doing it to develop, to bring new things and good things. So if you are doing it in order to, you are testing a new technology and finally fails, they will shift in 1 or 2 years. They will be fast, and they will in 2 years you have another thing. But this is what I like it. You can bring new ideas to the table, and they will say, hey, let's test this. And then this is what I see here in this market. Mm-hmm.
And to this regard, I think I also have something add on top. One example about the control center, and 3 years ago when I go into the police station, let's say they have the control center room. They have all the videos catch the road situation, the traffic flows and people. They have all the cameras on the road that you can see in the room, and you can see the control screen. Right? That's amazing to me, and this is somehow when I talk to the government side. So some other industrial park, for example, and they're going to copy this kind of control room. That they say, many times the governor will come and they would like to check the real-time status of the industrial park, which can be huge. Let's say they want to check the industrial park, and they want to digitalize this kind of park situation. They want to monitor electrification consumption, for example. They want to check the traffic status, and they want to see all this kind of summary, the real-time summary, the status. And so this creates also the kind of business opportunity. So when I talk to a lot of governments, and they are applying the same idea, and behind is also the policy. The government is driving smart city, and which is data consolidation, we call it. But before, it's like data isolated in a police station, and data isolated in the electrification brewery, and data also stored in the hospital, for example, but nobody can connect them. Now the government is really driving this to make sure that you have one screen, then you can see all the data. And this will apply to consumer as well. Identification that you can pay, for example, through WeChat, through Alibaba, Alipay, and later you can use the same ID that you can go to the you can go to the hospital. So this can all be connected. So to make much more easier for the citizens. But of course, the privacy is going to be much more and more important. So that's somehow also personally has impact. Yeah.
Sure. Thanks, guys, with for and points of view about this topic. One question for Jing. Jing, you talked before about the number of Chinese AUTOSAR members is increasing quickly. What are the drivers behind that?
The drivers for quick increasing of the Chinese partners, I think one main driver was actually some international companies brought this standard to China. I've experienced it that an international company in Shanghai, they require their suppliers, some are Chinese, pure Chinese companies, they require them to provide AUTOSAR compliant components. And because this car maker would distribute their product development requirement, especially for the communication part, they would deploy that with AUTOSAR format. And then the supplier must be able to take that format into their controller, into their development process, so that their component will fit later into the whole car. Therefore, these companies who want to do the business, want to supply the components to this OEM, would have to be compliant to AUTOSAR. Therefore, they have to use AUTOSAR technology, and they have to become an AUTOSAR partner or member to do that. And this was the beginning. And also, I think our promotion, our presentations on events, our meetings with companies introducing AUTOSAR also took a part in that. And people understand what it is and understands that AUTOSAR represents the new and high standard to develop automotive software. And with that in mind, with that kind of branding, some companies, Chinese companies, they are joining AUTOSAR and using AUTOSAR even before they fully understand what benefits they get. Sometimes it's true. They say, "Oh, our software is AUTOSAR compliant, and that is a sign we are doing a good job." And so this brought the quick increase, and recent 2 or 3 years, really, with the software-defined vehicles trend, people are really looking more into the software area, and they're developing different part of the car software. And more and more companies really, they are really experiencing the benefits brought by this software standard, and they are coming together. So unofficially, I got numbers that there are really much bigger number than what we have today as AUTOSAR partners in China. And so we're doing more introduction to the public, to the industry, that they should become AUTOSAR partners to use the standard. And I think so. On one hand, it's really a good standard that brings benefits, so people are more likely to use it. And on the other side, we have done a good job in promoting it, and we still have to strengthen it in future to bring it better to the public. Yeah.
Thanks so much, Jing. I can see that Jörg Tuchen is already joining the room again. That means the panel, the webinar, very soon is coming to an end. Before the webinar ends, I would like to ask all of you one last sentence statement about whatever we have been speaking today here about smart transportation in China, about smart mobility in China. What would be for the audience your last statement, your last sentence about this topic, starting with Nan, for example? You are on mute, Nan.
Okay, sorry. Thanks for the reminder. If we come to one sentence, I would say for the, let's say for the European friends or friends all over the world, China is really encouraging new technology deployment now in China. I think you are all welcome to join this market, and you will have huge potential business growth. I think that's my suggestion.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a very positive one, I have to say, and very good. Daniel, your last thoughts, your last statement?
Yeah, I will go on with Lance. Okay, welcome. I will tell you, you have to come with an open mind, trying to understand that the situation here is a little bit different than you know in your country of origin, and be willing to adapt, to be willing to be flexible, and don't try to sell off-the-shelf products. Don't try to sell what you're selling in your market. So it can be adapted here, and this is my experience. And listen, and what I have to do always to try to adapt what I have in Europe to China. So we need to be flexible in that case.
Thank you, Daniel. Jing, your last statement, your last message to the audience.
Yeah. Similar to what Nan said, China has great opportunity in the new field, smart mobility, and of course there are areas to take care that where China looks into the national security related topics where it's hard for foreign companies to enter. But in general, the market should become more and more open, and it's fair competition for everyone. And also, don't only take China as a market, take it as a talent resource, use brains here.
Thank you so much. That was the last question in this very interesting digital event today. Thank you, all of you, for joining us today. We hope that all of you enjoyed it. Special thanks, of course, to our three great panelists, Jing, Nan, Daniel. Really amazing share the panel with you all. Now, as a small gift for your contribution to this digital event, Jörg Tuchen, chair of UTEC's Climate Action Alliance, is going to provide you a little present in the name of the UTEC. Jörg, the microphone is yours.
Thank you very much to you, but also thank you very much to the panelists and speakers of this great webinar. It's really amazing how you shared your experience and your insight. That's a big contribution to this webinar. Thank you very much for that. And as Federico said, as a little gesture of appreciation, we will hand over a tree certificate for each of you. Before I do that, let me tell that handing over tree certificates, that's something, very close to my heart. And that is because I'm, as Federico said, I'm the chair of the Climate Action Commission at EUTEC, but I'm also the managing director of GoBlue Now, and we are a climate consulting company. So in both roles, I care a lot about the climate, and I deal a lot with the climate. And trees are obviously closely related to the climate. Therefore, it's a special pleasure. And now I show you the trees, which I will send to you immediately after the webinar. So this is the tree for Dania. Thank you very much, Dania. Here is the tree for Nan. and last but not least, the tree for Jing. Yeah, thank you very much again. I hand back now to Federico, but not without saying have a great rest of the day, and hope to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Jörg. I can see the faces of our speakers. I think they are happy with this little surprise that we provide them. Big thanks again to all of you panelists and speakers, and to all our audience. Thank you for joining us today. Please also join us at our LinkedIn China Alliance group. We hope to see you soon at our next events and activities, and always remember, technology obliges. Thank you so much, and take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.